Hey guys, it's Crystal and welcome to Sixth Dimension. I know I'm not in my usual like white background and it's not as bright as it usually is. It's because I decided that I didn't feel like filming in my kitchen where there's like no room for me to literally do anything, and I always bump up my tripod so I'm never like always in the same shot. So I decided I was gonna like film here. I'm using natural lighting, so if it changes, I'm sorry. This week we decided that we were gonna do rant week, so we're all going to rant about something. And as you guys know, I was just in Minnesota for 2 weeks, so I had to take 3 weeks off because I ended up coming back in the middle of the 3rd week. So I was not here for that and I couldn't upload videos. So I'm gonna tell you about my horrifying flight experience on my way back from Minnesota. So when I flew to Minnesota, I flew on Spirit Airlines, and not a lot of people know that airline. I wonder why. It's because they suck. They suck. But like whenever I flew there, it was fine. And like my connecting flight was fine. I was only late by like 30 minutes. And then whenever I go to come home from Minnesota, my flight from Minnesota to Chicago, where my layover was, got delayed for a good 2.5 hours due to a technical issue. And like that made me feel so much better that we had a technical issue on our plane. So I was like, okay, if they don't fix this, I'm not getting on it. Because who wants to go on a plane that has a technical issue? So they call the guy who's gonna fix it, and he doesn't come for like 2.5 hours. And you'd think they'd have someone, anyone at the airport who knows how to fix an airplane. Anyone. But no, they had to call the guy from his house. What? And then we finally get on the plane to Chicago, and it's like an hour plane ride from Minneapolis to Chicago. And so we're there, and I'm like, okay, because I really thought I was gonna miss my connecting flight in Chicago to Tampa, and I didn't, thank God. Like, I didn't miss it, but I did miss it. I'll get there. But we get to Chicago and we're stuck on the runway in our plane, on the runway for an hour because Chicago didn't have enough gates for all the planes that were landing. And there was like a whole line of planes behind us that also were stuck. So I know that I'm gonna miss my connecting flight. So I call the flight attendant over and she's like, sorry, I can't do anything. Like I can't even call in and tell them like to hold it. Cause there was a lot of us on that plane that were going to Tampa and getting on that flight. There was at least like 30 of us. And so she's like, oh, I can't do anything. So I call my stepmom and she calls the airline and they say, sorry, I can't do anything. Are you kidding me? Like I just missed my flight to Tampa. I'm stuck in Chicago and I'm not gonna get home tonight is what was going through my mind. I was so angry. So then as soon as we finally get a gate an hour later, I run to my other gate where my Tampa flight was gonna be, and I notice there's not a plane at the end of the gate. And missed it by like 10 minutes. It's like 10 minutes after. I was like, okay, maybe it was delayed and it didn't leave. But no, it left. I get there, there's no plane there. It says that the next one's coming to take people to Los Angeles, and I'm like, I just missed my flight. And the lady's like, go to the ticket counter. And so I did, and the guy was like, okay, I'll get you straightened out. And then he did. He bought me a ticket off of Orbitz. Bought me a ticket off of Orbitz. Why wouldn't they just schedule me on another freaking flight? And, they didn't even put me on another Spirit flight, which I was grateful for because I did not want to have that horrifying experience for a second time. They finally gave me another flight and they bought me a ticket. I still don't understand how an airline can buy a ticket off of Orbitz for another thing. Like, wouldn't they just, I don't know. But they bought me a ticket for United flight, and then I got on that and I went to the ticket thingy because I was already out of security, so I had to go back through, which took freaking forever. And so I'm in line for the lady who's gonna give me my boarding pass, and I was like, okay, my luggage, it was on that flight from Minneapolis, and she's like, I have no idea what's gonna happen. Did you ask the Spirit people? And I was like, I did ask the Spirit people. They said they don't know. And then it was just a terrible, terrible day. Terrible day. I'm still so mad about it. And I've been back for like 3 weeks now. But yeah. So then I asked the lady, I was like, okay, what's gonna happen with my luggage? She's like, oh, they'll probably just put it on the Tampa flight and bring it to Tampa. And I was like, okay, so it should be there whenever I get like to Tampa. And she's like, yeah, it'll be there. And then, so I get in line and I'm get in the security line and I'm with the same lady who was on the same flight that I was. And she's like, are you gonna make it? And I was like, yeah, they gave me another flight. And then we go through security together and then I get to my other gate. And then the guy at the gate was so nice. He was like very outgoing and very nice. And I was like, I have had a very stressful day and I have anxiety and I really just need a different seat. I cannot sit in the middle. I can sit in the aisle. I can sit at the window. I don't care. Just please give me another seat. And he's like, okay, I'll see what I can do. And then he's like, I'm gonna move someone so you can sit where you want. And I was like, okay, thank you. And he's like, how old are you? And I was like 16. He's like, yeah, I'm gonna give you what you want. So then he let me have a window seat, and I was very grateful for that. And turns out I ended up sitting right next to that lady that was in line with me, so that was nice. And then we're like flying through a storm, and that made me nervous, but there was like a split second when we were flying over, like, I don't know if anybody knows how Florida is laid out, but Tampa is like, okay, so like here's the peninsula where Pinellas County is, and then Tampa's like across the Tampa Bay. So we're going over the water, and I'm like, we're really low over some water. What's gonna happen? Are we gonna crash? Or are we gonna land? I don't know what's happening. Then all of a sudden we just like get on a runway and we're landed. And then I get there, and my stepmom and my dad are there, and my dad was like freaking out. Because he's like, you just shaved like 20 years off of my life. You scared me half to death. And so we go to baggage, and my bag isn't there. We go to United, and they say, yeah, we have no agreement with Spirit. I don't know why they told you that your bag would be here. I don't know why our United lady told you that your bag would be here, but we don't know where it is. And we can't be held accountable for it because we never had it. So then I go to the Spirit desk, and this is like 10:30 at night, and I go to them, and they're like, yeah. And I'm like, you lost my bag after you guys made me miss my flight, and then you bought me a ticket on Orbitz. I still don't know how that happened. I don't know, and then I lost my bag. So I didn't have my bag I think I didn't have my bag the whole next day, or I might have gotten it the next day, but like I had my phone on me all day, and I stayed home, and I was like, okay, my bag's gonna come. And then as soon as I left to go get freaking chlorine for my dad for our stupid pool, I didn't have my phone with me because I left it in the car so I could carry the chlorine. And as soon as I get back in the car, I have like 4 missed calls, and I have a text saying, this is a baggage delivery service from the Tampa International Airport, and we need to verify your address so we can give you the bag. So I called back, and I verified my address, and then my bag came. So I guess in the end, everything worked out, but still it was like the scariest thing because I thought I was gonna be stuck in Chicago all night, and I don't know anybody in Chicago. So what was I gonna do, sleep at the airport? That is sketchy. I don't even sleep on airplanes because it's sketchy. I can't do it. And then, yeah, it all worked out, but it's still so angry and so passive aggressive because I can't do anything. So, yeah, that happened. Never fly Spirit Airlines. My friend warned me not to fly Spirit, and this was before I even bought the ticket. Actually, my aunt bought the ticket, but she warned me. She's like, don't fly Spirit, because whenever I was flying to Massachusetts a couple years ago, and I was flying for the first time by myself, they put me on a flight that was supposed to go to Massachusetts, and it landed at the wrong airport. So it landed in like Texas or something, and then they almost put her on a flight to like California. And yeah, so I should have listened to her, but I guess I didn't, and I thought everything would be fine, and then it wasn't fine. So long story short, don't fly Spirit Airlines. I'm never gonna fly Spirit Airlines again. And make sure you have everything under control when you're traveling. make sure you know all of the information. Make sure you check out the airline before you fly it. Make sure it has like good reviews. Don't just fly an airline because it's the cheapest, because that's what I did. But it's really not that cheap. It was so expensive for my bags. But make sure you are safe and make sure you don't freak out, because I was freaking out. And just be safe. Don't get lost. Don't have your bag lost. And fly with other people. Don't fly by yourself, because you get scared and it's not a fun time. But yeah, that was my rant about Spirit Airlines and how they screwed me over, and I thought I was gonna be stranded in Chicago. But thank you so much for watching, and stay tuned this week for more ranty videos from the rest of us, because I can tell some people's tempers are gonna be lost, I think. Because luckily mine happened a couple weeks ago and I've had time to cool off, but I don't know what everybody else is ranting about, so you're gonna see our true colors. Like this video if you want, and subscribe if you want, and leave a comment if you want. I always say if you want, but I don't want to feel like I'm pressuring you into doing something. But thanks for watching, and I will see you next week. Bye guys. I'm gonna make this video short and sweet so I don't have to edit so much, because I suck. Yes, I suck. I suck, I suck, I suck. What? And I go and the screen says too long.